Welcome in, everybody, on the Stark Media YouTube channel. I'm TJ Downing, and I'm joined here on campus, on the campus of Walsh University, with head football coach John Fankhauser, and we're inside of the William and Kathleen Brockler press box, newly developed here alongside this beautiful stadium that is here on campus. And going to break down a couple things here with Coach today. As you've seen before, this will be our fourth episode here with the Walsh Cavaliers, kind of breaking down the team, following the football journey as well. Coach, we're just about a week away, little over a week away from training camp, and I know we kind of popped up here, man, because it's starting to get warm outside, and you feel the temperature starting to rise. You know, you got some double sessions coming up. You're going to be able to get the pads on the guys and really kind of get the real pulse of a football team when you get out there and you can line up and you can do the inside drill, you can do the one-on-one pass rush, and you can get that one-on-one, that 1-0-1D at the end of practice. That's really kind of where the rubber meets the road, and you find out what guys are going to be ready to play once you hit West Liberty on Thursday night. Yeah, for sure. It's the dog days of August and July right now, which we haven't started quite yet, but we're getting ready to. When in Stark County, we know when the Hall of Fame starts kicking off, the football season's right around the corner, and we're ready to go. I know that when I go do some of the Jackson Food Fest and some of the things like that, I know that camp's right around the corner. It's summer's over. Let's get rolling, and we got a bunch of good guys getting ready to come in. Report day is August 6th, and those guys will get in, get their dorms, and get all the paperwork done, and then be on the practice field on the 7th. Man, I'll tell you what, it's coming up quick, and I'm getting excited because, once the season comes here, man, it's full tilt, and guys are locked in, you're dialed in, and there's a purpose. You're purpose-driven, Everybody can kind of get caught up in the monotony sometimes of the off-season conditioning because you go through the different phases. You've got fresh after the season, guys showing up, just kind of getting back into the fold through the winter conditioning, trying to do some team bonding stuff, maybe some early morning workouts, then spring ball. Now you're kind of wrapping up the back end of your summer phase of things. The last time I had to talk, I talked with new athletic director Nate Cochran. We had Tom Bajalad with us, and you're really impressed with some of the things he's brought to your players, right? Yes, I am. Tom's done a great job with our players. He's created not just strength, but he's created an attitude. Yeah. In that weight room, workout area, those are the areas that you can really build a lot of character in your team. And Tom's done a great job with that. He's got a background in track and field and throwing, but he also had a background in Penn State football. And I know that's not great for you. You're an Ohio State guy, but some of the things that football mentality that he has brought to us has really helped us. It's really helped our kids in the offseason. David Rhodes broke about a 13 or 14-year standing power clean record of 350 pounds the other day. Wow. And just throwing weight around like it's candy. And it's awesome to see, and Tom's a big help with that, focusing on getting those guys the right mentality to inform to take on those weights and that amount of lifting that they're doing. It's been really good. We'll talk about that O-line here in just a second, but before we get into it, we want to thank a couple of our sponsors, mainly right here on campus, those that support the Walsh University, the Walsh Cavaliers, right here on that scoreboard outside. It starts with Huntington Bank, Altman, and Bell Stores. Also on this sign out here, you'll see the Sam Center, Serving Area Military in downtown Massillon. Make sure to check them out, all that they do for veteran families in need. Shout out to them. Always been a big supporter, along with the Leathernecks and Save 22 out of Carrollton, supporting our vets and supporting not only Stark Media, but the Walsh Cavaliers. We want to give a special shout out to Hilsher Clark Electric, the Eagles FOE 190, McNeil & Sons Tree Service, Lindsay's Pizza, FinallyHereOhio.com, C.H. Vallis and Associates, H&H Truck Parts, Spirit of Stark, and Simon Says Promotions. All right, Coach, first thing that stuck out to me before we kind of got this thing rolling here, you kind of rapped about a young buck. It was the Doylestown guy, the Chippewa. Was that Christian Harrell? Yeah, Christian Harrell. Christian Harrell. He's a guy that was an offensive tackle, played at offensive tackle for you. Now he's going to be lining up at tight end, and you're expecting some big things out of him. Oh, yep, you switched it on me. Christian Harrell's going to stay at guard. Okay. It's Steve Gillen that played tackle for us last year. He's a Tusky Valley guy. Tusky Valley guy, yep. Steve played tackle against, I believe, Ashland and started for us there. And then later in the year, the other guy had gotten healthy that Francisco got healthy and came back and took that spot back over, and Steve was just kind of sitting there like, hey, I can play. And we moved him to tight end in our open week and ended up at the end of the year having 2 touchdowns,
which really every Hog loves.
Yeah,
All those offensive line guys, they were lighting it up on the sideline and fired up about Steve's catch for a touchdown, and that was awesome. But we're expecting big things out of him. We ended up keeping him at tight end, and he's gotten athletic. He dropped some weight because it was hard for him to put on a bunch of weight, so it worked out.
It's funny for us offensive linemen that we play the game of football, but we don't ever really get to touch the football. So I'm sure that was probably a special feeling for the young man, Steven. Okay, so we had a chance to have Rhodesy on with us. The first time we had you on over at the Hall of Fame, and you talked about, I mean, dude, I scooped 365 from the ground back in the day, man. To do 350 like that, that's a strong lad, right? He's got the legs, he's got the full body power. Who are some other guys that will fit in around him? You mentioned Christian. He'll stay at guard. Talk about some of those other guys, those pieces that will fit in around, and kind of right now where you think going into training camp, let's say post-spring ball, a rough starting five.
Ooh, boy, rough starting five. That's going to be interesting because I think we got some guys that are really competing for positions. I think David Rhodes is a guy that's going to probably be at center, but he can also play guard. Cole Krennick may be the center if he can take that position over and afford us the ability to move Rhodey to guard. So that's a big one. Christian Harrell's going to be a staple at the right guard spot. Brandon Kennedy is projected to be our right tackle. And he's a big body, has good athletic movement, and I'm expecting him to have a really good camp. He had a good spring, and hopefully we can keep building on that. The left tackle, which is always our biggest concern, is a little bit open yet, and we have some Schmitz is a guy that's going to be in spot for that, but I shouldn't say an open door, but it's a competitive area for sure.
You know that from last year, a couple guys that repped coming out of the backfield, they're gone, but you talked about Dom Jennings. He's a guy that will carry the bulk of the load. Talk about the skill set that he brings to the table. I mean, what are some of his strengths, and who are some guys that you're kind of looking at, okay, when he needs a spell, we're going to need these guys to be able to step up. Maybe it could be a third and short. Maybe it could be a different goal line type situation. Some other guys we might see toting a rock.
Well, Dom's got a great skill set. He is a big back. He's a big, thick kid that can move, and that's the thing I really like about him. And if you'd ask Dom, he's an outside runner more than he is an inside runner, but his body type lends him to be able to run behind his pads and do some things on the inside. So I'm expecting to have a good year from him. He ended up getting banged up a little bit last year, so he didn't get as much time as he would have liked. Him and Ty Carter split time a lot in the early part. Then Dom had a knee strain and had to fight his way back from that and a bone bruise. Cam Macon is a young kid that we redshirted last year from Barberton that I believe has as good a talent as anybody in our backfield right now. And I think that he can come in and do some really things and be a good 1-2 punch with Dom as well. And that's we're looking for big things from him, and I hope he can keep growing. He's done a great job in the weight room, as Dom has all summer. Heck, Dom's out there. I'm surprised he's not out there right now pulling a sled behind him, running around. He's always out there doing stuff. But those two kids are guys that we're really keen on in the backfield. Garrett Waite is a kid that transferred to us last year as a wide receiver, had some big catches, had a big catch in the spring game as well. He's a guy at receiver that we're expecting to have some big things out of. Outside, A.J. Harris is another kid. Tavion Jackson is another young guy that we expect to have a good year at receiver. And then we brought in some recruits that we think can do some things. Daniel Denny is a transfer that's coming in that will be a good slot guy. Andrew Lachey is a grad transfer from I just lost the school. Florida Gulf Coast that is coming in as a grad transfer, and expect some good things from him as well.
TJ Downing here on campus with head coach of the Walsh Cavaliers, John Fankhauser. Okay, let's kind of stick with that theme a little bit here and go more towards your coaching philosophy, offensive side of the ball. We know, well, I guess us linemen, we try and, let's say, dumb it down a little bit. It's not rocket science, right? We're not building the atom bomb out here. The run opens up the pass opens up the run. When you get to college, the first thing I noticed was, when you're in high school, you kind of focus on a couple different things, just a few things, because as young kids, maybe it's hard to learn all these different schemes. When you get to college, you're expected to be able to run the ball outside. You talked about Dom. He'll tell you he's an outside runner. Maybe we want him running power game. what are some of your different schemes offensively when you guys are trying to establish the run? Are you guys working inside zone? Are you trying to stretch it outside? Are you coming back in and working some pulling guard stuff and power? Kind of break down offensively what your philosophies have been over the years.
Well, my philosophy, I grew up in the Jim Tressel days and the Jim Dennison
We're
days.
speaking the same language
Yep,
now.
and it's all Dave and power and ISO. Those things are huge staples in the run game. We've gotten away from that in versions of different things over the years with the inside and outside zone, a little bit of pin and pull and some of those things. But we're getting back a little bit to that power game. That's going to be a big part of what we do. The thing that Coach Pertil is going to do with the offense is allow the quarterback a little bit more of a read and run type of thing. So we get some power with the quarterback as well. So that's going to kind of broaden our offense a little bit and give us a little bit more gap sound for the defense. They got to make sure they're covering everything, and we can read and figure out where the best option for us to run is with our quarterback having the ability to do those things. So I'm excited for that. That changes my philosophy a little bit because when you got a good quarterback, you protect the heck out of him.
Yeah, right.
So that's something we're going to get into, but we have a number of guys that will be able to throw in there and do some things in the quarterback spot. So I'm changing my philosophy a little bit, but it's still going to be a not dominant, but run first and really use it to help us open up some other things in the passing game.
I think I told you this last time we talked, man. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
No.
So when you talk about that ISO game, I know we just talked about some backs that might carry the ball for you. Who are some blocking fullbacks that you might lean on to say, listen, man, when we run, and I know how difficult it can be sometimes, because and I saw some great, phenomenal fullbacks running the ISO, guys like Stan White Jr. and Pepper Johnson's son, Deontay Johnson, and they still clinic tape and install tape down there at Ohio State will show Jamar Martin from McKinley. When he ran ISO, he would send guys into orbit. Now, you know from being around football long enough that a lot of times when that fullback and that linebacker meet in a hole, if you got that, if your guard and tackle, center, double team, whatever, can create that perfect little alley for him to get in there, you know, you got some different things you can do. But when you square up on a guy, a linebacker, you're both coming downhill and meeting, you get a little bit of a stalemate there, you know, and you might get a little push in. But, you know, Jamar would take guys and put them into orbit. Who are some guys that you're expecting to come down there and just kind of lay the wood and open something up for a guy like Dom Jennings?
Well, that old fullback is a thing of the past, which bothers me because I was a fullback. I don't know if I could have played in today's game. So I was basically a guard in the backfield. And we've gotten to that a lot more with the H-back and being able to versatile move him around to get to where we need him to be and be that lead blocker for the tailback. And we'll also toil around a little bit with two-back sets as well. But Braden Elwer is a guy that we feel like can come in and do some of those things. Toby Grossi is a guy that is an old fullback. I tell him that all the time. I said, Toby, you're an old fullback. But
you're an old soul, man.
Me and you think alike. If we see something in front of us, we're not going to run around it. We're going to run through it. So, yeah, Toby's a guy that I think can get healthy and be a guy that leads up in there. Will Butler. From Lake is a recruit that we're bringing in as that H-back type thing, but he's a guy that's so versatile that we're going to do a lot of different things with him. Some guys like that definitely can do those things. You know, Steve and some of the other guys on the tight end are going to be on the line tight end, and that H-back is that smaller 6'2" or 6'1" guy that has that 240-pound body that can lead up and fill up a linebacker's grill.
That was kind of the interesting thing to me when I broke down the recruiting class with Coach Mark Johnson. He said, you know, Will Butler, the versatility, that you keyed on it. I mean, everybody remembers what he was able to do at Lake last year. He threw the ball. He ran the ball. He caught the ball. He went over and got tackles on defense. It's like, and even a guy like Ty Miller, you know, I think you're going to probably lean towards putting him at defensive back first. But I always remember games where he was healthy with Lake. You could count on it one time throughout that game. He was going to have a 40, 50-yard reception. He was going to make an impact play, an explosive play. But trying to figure it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
You know, because we know the game of football. We know injuries are always going to be there. It's a part of the game, and you got to have guys that are ready to step up and play. And I think Will Butler is the type of guy that most of us know, you could probably plug and play him a lot of different spots.
Yeah, that's the thing, that he brings so much versatility as being a quarterback in high school, to playing some defense and doing the things that he did. That's what really jumped off tape for us in the recruiting process, and it was a battle to try to get him and make sure that we were the right fit for him. But, yeah, he's a guy, and there's a number of other guys also that are versatile that can do a number of different things. Like Dom Jennings played quarterback 3 years in high school and was tailback 1 year.
Okay.
So he tells me all the time, Coach, I can throw it. Coach, I can throw it. And so we'll have some things in for different guys like that. But, some of our slot guys will give us some versatility in the backfield as well, with some of the jet sweeps and different things like that, to where we want to run outside. And like I said, really force defenses to cover gap to gap, sideline to sideline. If we can do that, we should be able to find a weakness and exploit it.
Let's talk some special teams for a second. I know Cam Miser, he's going to be your long snapper, and you mentioned a young man, a kicker that's coming in here that you're expecting some big things out of as well.
Yeah, we recruited Jared Karakis from he transferred from Bowling Green. We sort of recruited him out of high school a little bit. Knew who he was and all that stuff, but he was a soccer guy, came actually down here and visited in soccer. But he wanted to get in the transfer portal. We feel really good about him. He's from Copley. Feel really good about his ability, his leg strength, and the things that he can do. And I expect him to really compete in the kicking side of the deal. We return our punter, and I feel really good about Garrett and what he can do. And he was a third-team all-conference punter last year. Expecting to have bigger things out of him, and be kind of the returning staple in the group for sure. And brought a freshman in from Barberton as well that can kick. So we feel good about our kicking game. I know this is a Trestleism. This is something I use so well. End every drive with a great kick.
Yep.
And if we can do that, we'll be all right. And punting is not a bad thing, especially if we can pin them down and give our defense some field position.
No doubt about it. I'll tell you what, man, we don't ever really want to have to use them. We love to be able to score touchdowns every time. We know that that's not the game of football.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, it'd be arena ball, I guess. Yep. But you're right. I mean, when you can down somebody inside their own 10, get a helmet sticker, put your defense in a great situation, and let's go over to that side of the ball now. I know that. Coming out of spring ball, little skinny on the D-line, you've recruited some great guys that come in, and I've said from day one, I think Alvonte Ivory is a guy that out of McKinley that I was thoroughly impressed covering him throughout his high school career. I think he could be a stud in the three technique nose guard type position for you. But you mentioned a couple guys that might play that defensive end position. How do you feel about the defensive line right now as we're a week out from training camp?
I feel pretty good about them. They're going to be young. That's the challenge that we have, is we're going to be playing some younger guys, which is not a big deal as long as they're able to play and can prove it. Jesse Stevens is a guy that's returning on the defensive line, and we expect to have good things from him. He's had a good offseason, good spring ball, and he was coming back from injury, but I believe his body's ready to go. Played quite a bit last year. Cody Henry from Worcester is a guy that we expect to have a really good year on the defensive line and really be the staple of. He is a guy that does everything right technique-wise. He's not big enough. He's not fast enough, but he does everything right, and that's why he plays. And he does a good job on the defensive line. And then we got some young guys, like you said, Alvonte Ivory, Caden Peters, a couple other guys, Jabril Bradford, and some of those guys that are coming in that we are going to have to force into playing time a little bit and figure out how quickly they mature, how quickly they understand the defense. We keep the defensive line a little stupid simple.
Yeah.
Just let them line up and get moving and give them a one quick move and let them run. Let them go.
We both know that college football is a different monster, but I guess when you can get a guy out of Camp McKinley, who's played big-time Division I football, you feel they might be a little bit more ready. So that could be a good thing for the young man who sported number 52 back there for the Bulldogs. Not sure what he's going to wear here, but, again, grow up quickly. Put him in the fire early in training camp, and let's get ready to rock and roll. Now talk about Rock'em Rocco. That's what we'll nickname this year. Rocco Iacino, talked about Stephen Ball. He graduated, played an impact role defensively for you last year, but Cam Hollabaugh as well. I mean, he's, somebody put out a cool little graphic on Twitter, like the best number 40s in Division II college football, and he's right up there. I mean, Cam is a dude that can play.
Yes, he is. He's a kid that we recruited out of Warren JFK, and he was everything for them. He played quarterback, he played linebacker, he played safety, he played a number of different things. And then he was on the state basketball team and the baseball team and all those things, and he's on our baseball team here at Walsh, and I believe he was an all-conference selection in baseball as a first baseman. But Cam is a really hard worker, really good kid, really a guy that you want to be around. And so is Rocco. Those two guys are really the staple of our defense right now as far as inside. And if you're good up inside, you're going to be good around the edges usually too, because it'll force things out. And those guys do a really good job at playing linebacker, understanding what's going on. Zayden Abuhamde is a guy that's going to get a lot more playing time, played on a lot of special teams last year. JoJo is a transfer that came in that will play on the inside as well. So we really feel good about the inside linebackers. Our outside linebackers are going to be a little bit young, but there's some Cam Gill from Perry's a guy that's going to get a shot out there. DJ Reed from Hoover is a guy that's going to be to the field and be a little bit more athletic as an outside linebacker. And then brought in a number of outside linebackers as well in the recruiting class.
I mean, dude, I'm a Federal League guy, man. So you're telling me you got a Hoover dude and a Perry dude coming off the edge? I like it already.
Yep.
You know, and I followed those kids extensively throughout their career and covered them. DJ, great player. Cam, tough as nails. You know you're going to get that out of the Perry system.
Yep.
But then looking into the back half of the defense, Robbie Page. I mean, he's a dude that's started 3 years now. He'll be a 3-year starter.
Yes, this will be his third year starting. And
similar to what I talked about with Levani Ivory. You come from a program like McKinley. You come from a program like Massillon. You expect that you're going to be ready to play college football.
Yep.
More than a kid maybe from a Warren JFK.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just because they've been in that different environment.
Yep.
You know, it's a big deal for them. And Robbie's really had a good start to his career, and I hope he can finish it off the way he wants to, because we got to get this thing turned around and win. And Robbie's a guy it's really important to him to do that. And he's been in my doghouse. I'll say that. I can say that about Robbie. He's been in my doghouse because he can get on edge, but I love his passion.
Yeah.
I love his tenacity for the game of football. I have to get on him about being mature at times, but he's a guy that will do what we ask and be there and be ready to go. And I just don't want him to get any personal fouls or anything like that, because he's not afraid. He will not back down from anybody, and I love that about him. But, he's a guy that's going to really set the back end of it, because he's an experienced guy. Marvin Conkle, who played a little bit last year on a lot of special teams and had a really good spring game as well. He's going to be one of the other safeties that can come in and do some things in the back end and really provide Coach Johnson some peace of mind.
You know, it's funny. You talk about a safety maybe who doesn't know his own size, right? You know, you're walking out there thinking you're like you're the biggest dude on the yard, and you know it's a heart thing. You know, I used to run into guys like that all the time. Guys like Dante Whitner and Mike Doss probably had the biggest hearts, maybe not the biggest bodies, but they were the fieriest. And I'll tell you what. You see them, they go down there and they start mixing it up with the offensive lineman. And you're thinking, this little pencil neck's coming down here to try and do like a little cowboy blitz, run some type of safety blitz, and you're thinking you're going to peel them back. And no, they're ready. They're ready to step in there to the fight. So I like that about Robbie Page, man, and that's going to be a strong point for him. And you're going to need that defensively when you want to come out there and set the tone. Coach John Fankhauser joining me here inside of the William and Kathleen Brockler press box. Stark Media on location here on campus of Walsh University. All right, man, before I get you out of here, the last time we talked, you said the hardest thing about this deal has always been getting on a bus to go play a home game. And as we look back here behind us, you got this right here. This is a new thing. This is a different feel, and you're going to have on August 31st, Thursday night, standalone game, West Liberty, tailgating, coming out the tunnel. We actually we half attempted to set up out there in the tunnel there, but it was getting a little warm. But that, to me, the reason I wanted to go over there was that's like the point of no return. It's like you got your guys, you're hived up, your leaders are out in the front, and you're there with them, and you're looking into their eyes knowing that, okay, when we come out this tunnel, it's almost like Coach Tressel used to play Gladiator for us, you know, when they come out. Whatever comes out, when we come out of those gates, we got to stay together. When we come out of this tunnel, we got to stay together. And that's a point of it's a rallying point. It's a point where you bond and mold a team. And just to look back here and see that, I mean, what kind of feelings does that kind of bring through you?
Well, you're right. As our guys come out of our locker room, kind of filter down through, we're in groups of 2 as you go. But when we get in the tunnel, we stop. The first group gets to the front, and I'm typically at the front. Sometimes I'm in the back pushing guys a little bit. But they'll stop at the front of the tunnel and wait till everybody gets into it. And we end up being 5 or 6 deep across the deal. And they get a little chant going, get a little vibe going, and get that. And it's awesome because it echoes. It's right on top of you. Everything is right there. We have fans on both sides of the tunnel ready for us and coming out and pushing us on the other side. And they get a little chant going. They get it going, and then we come out and hit the field, and it's awesome. The thing that I feel have 20-plus years of going to other stadiums as our home place, we have a great opportunity and started creating a great opportunity atmosphere on our campus for a game day. The thing I'm so excited about for this fall is the fact that we'll be on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And all the students can be around, and the campus will be a vibe, and there'll be tailgating, there'll be the band, the cheerleaders, all the things on our campus Cavalier walk. Everything's going to be a great atmosphere for us to kick off this season. And having it last year was great, but this year we'll be able to do that on a Thursday night at 7 against West Liberty and be out here and just light it up.
It's full tilt, man. I'm ready. You got an extra set of pads I can borrow?
I can use you for sure. That tackle spot, remember I said it was a little bit open.
Oh, man. My left tackle days might be behind me, man, but I'm going to be right up here in this press box calling that game for you, man. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And all of those different feelings that come along with what you just said, when you're tight, you're in that tunnel, man, and and you can feel each other's energy, and you come out there and you play as one, and all the work that's led up to that moment, man, you just kind of, what's the old saying? Let it fly.
Let it fly.
Let it fly, man.
Out.
So, Coach Fank, appreciate you joining me up here, man. We will be back with more as we get into training camp. As we mentioned, August 6th, Monday, August 6th, it's going to be the 7th. Monday, August 7th.
7th is the first practice.
Rock and roll, man. August 6th, you guys, you'll be getting the boys in there ready to go. And August 7th, strap the pads on, and here we go, man. Season is upon us. So a message to everybody out there watching this, Cavalier Nation, August 31st, Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Get out here early, because I can already hear after you talked about the tailgating, I can smell the bratwurst, and I can smell somebody's going to bring me a cheeseburger up here. I'm going to need that. You come out here and support the Cavaliers. This is a special thing. As Coach just mentioned, last year was the first year of having this here on campus. Second year, it's time to blow the roof off this thing and really make it a special feeling, not only for alumni, for the student body, but these players, these coaches, this team, this university. Make sure you're coming out here and supporting everything that they're doing. So we'll see you on August 31st. And after this, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more on our Stark Media Team YouTube channel. Myself, TJ Downing, head coach John Fankhauser. Appreciate you tuning in and rocking a little Cavalier football with us. So long. Power outages can happen at any time, without warning, and can leave your home powerless for days. Hilscher Clark has partnered with Generac to bring you the #1 selling home standby generator brand, engineered and built in the USA since 1959. With a home standby generator, your home will never lose power again. Generac generators activate automatically in the event of any power loss and restore power to your home within seconds. Don't leave your home unprotected. Trust only the best. Hilscher Clark's residential division are experts in their profession and go above and beyond to provide you with quality, efficient service at a fair price. Starting with the estimate, they keep you informed regarding status and completion of your projects. They also give you shorter arrival windows and send you email and text confirmations of your scheduled service appointment, as well as notifications when their electricians are on their way to your home. Hilscher Clark's Google reviews speak for themselves, with more than 270 reviews and 4.9 stars. And if you've just recently purchased an electric vehicle but don't want to rely on public chargers to keep your battery full, Hilscher Clark has all the juice you can handle for your home vehicle charging needs. Hilscher Clark is a certified Q Merit Solutions partner, making them market leaders in electrification and recommended by local dealerships. Visit them online at www.hilscher-clark.com. That's HILSCHER-CLARKE.com. Or stop down and see them at 519 4th Street Northwest in downtown Canton. Or contact Hilscher Clark today at 330-452-9806. That's 330-452-9806. Remember, it's your home, it's our family. Trust only the best. Hilscher Clark Electric Company. The Fraternal Order of Eagles number 190 in Massillon wants you. Stop down to the Massillon ARE at 303 Wyrick Boulevard Northwest. And like our over 1,800 members experience daily, your Eagles membership will give you access to great food and drink specials. Having a party? Host it in our banquet facility and seat up to 400 people. When you're coming through downtown Massillon, stop by the Eagles and sign up. And for a small fee, you'll have access and be a part of a fraternity that donates over $100,000 a year to local charities. The Fraternal Order of Eagles ARE number 190 in downtown Massillon. Stop by or call us today at 330-832-7385.
McNeil & Sons Tree Service serves the greater Northeast Ohio area by keeping your property clear all year round. Do you have trees that have stretched too close to your home? A rotted tree that has to go? Or perhaps even storm damage? No job is too big or small for McNeil & Sons. We specialize in large tree removal, storm damage, stump grinding, land clearing, and more. McNeil & Sons Tree Service is fully licensed and insured, so contact us today at 330-606-1126 for all your tree care needs, or visit us online at mcneiltree.com to schedule your free quote. The professionals at McNeil & Sons can inform you of your tree health and give you a risk assessment to keep your family protected. So call today, 330-606-1126. McNeil & Sons Tree Service, a company you can depend on with family you can trust.
At C.H. Vallis & Associates, we've been proudly serving the greater Stark County community for over 78 years. Locally owned, we cover your home, auto, business, and life insurance along with your group benefits. Our partnership with auto owners has allowed us to span not only Ohio, but throughout the entire country. Did you know that Auto Owners, an A++ rated company by AM Best and a Fortune 500 company, has ranked C.H. Vallis & Associates a top 10 insurance agency in the state of Ohio? From your basic home and auto needs to insuring some of the largest companies in America, there's a reason people choose C.H. Vallis & Associates and Auto Owners. Our dedication and passion for our clients and their coverage is part of our commitment to excellence. For all your insurance coverage needs, there's only one call to make, and that's C.H. Vallis & Associates, located at 1302 South Main Street in North Canton. Contact us at 330-494-2776 today and see the difference in customer satisfaction. You came to Stark Media for the best? Well, now you got it. Check out Lindsay's Pizza on 2827 Whipple Avenue Northwest inside of the Hillsdale Shopping Center. The preferred post-game pizza of the Stark Media team is open until 11 p.m., and it has all the essentials for game day. Pizza, chicken, salads, and sandwiches are just a click away at lindsayspizza.com. But you should trust the former Ohio State All-American and just call them right now at 330-477-3800. 477-3800. This is TJ Downing for Lindsay's Pizza, and I approve this message. The leader in quality drivetrain components, H&H Truck Parts, is a name you can trust. Located in Valley View, Ohio at 5500 South Cloverleaf Parkway, H&H can handle all your heavy-duty truck needs. Come in and exchange your transmission, differential, or power steering gearbox. But that's not all. H&H is equipped to handle all your parts needs. Permco pumps, Muncie PTOs, Neapco U-joints, Spicer yokes, new Eaton clutches, and more. Let the professionals at H&H Truck Parts handle your transmission or differential installation in one of their 6 service bays. Specializing in drivetrain repairs, stop by and have your drive shaft balanced, flywheel resurfaced, or your clutch installed alongside the best transmissions and differentials on the road. You know why they're the best? Because H&H is Ohio's largest purchaser of Eaton Fuller parts. Need a blower or a pump? H&H distributes Paragon and Permco brands. Names you can trust with your livelihood on the road. Call H&H Truck Parts today for the leader in heavy-duty truck parts and service. Call locally at 216-642-4540. Toll free at 800-601-4540 or check them out online at hhtruckparts.com.